All right, the coffee just got done right as the live stream started here, so we're good to go. And let me see here. Got a good picture. All right, cool. We're all set. Okay, what's up, everybody? We got the stove going. We've got the obviously the big tent set up. I'm near Flagstaff right now, getting ready for the storm that's coming. We were supposed to have a couple inches last night, but it was kind of more just like a dusting and just a lot of wind. The wind temperature or the wind speeds got up to about 35 last night. But what I love about camping in these big old ponderosa pine forests is that the trees are so big that literally it blocks all the wind. And so, you'll hear it up in the trees and like way up high, you'll hear it really blowing like crazy. But then once it's on the ground, it's just not that bad. So I like it a lot. So, Joe Teeter, what's up, man? Good morning from Central Michigan. John Richardson, what's up, buddy, from Oak Ridge, Tennessee? Oh, right on, man. My brother lives in Brentwood. Blake, what's going on, dude? How are things, man? How are things down in Oklahoma? Hope all's well. Things are good here. Sierra just got done having some breakfast herself. She's just chilling right here on the bed. What's up, baby girl? Everybody loves you. I know. Did you have a good breakfast? We slept cuddled up in there last night. I did forget to bring the wood stove fan, which is such a bonehead move on my part because it's supposed to get pretty cold here. Tonight's not going to be bad, but then Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night are going to be really bad, like down in like 0 and negative degrees and stuff like that. And if there's any wind when it's that cold out, it makes it to where the tent is freezing if you don't have the stove pushing the air on the tent. Like right next to the stove, it'll be warm, but over by my bed, it'll be real cold. And so I think that tomorrow it looks like there's going to be a break in the weather, and then I can probably run back to my ranch and grab the stove. I tried to find one in Flagstaff yesterday, and there were none to be found. So I think it's just because the storm was coming and they probably got bought up. And the place, one of the places, the Tractor Supply, they're like, oh, we always have them. It's just everybody came in and bought them. We got some more coming. So I think that what I'll do is. I put enough pancake mix in here, it's pretty runny. Let's put some more. What I'll do is I'll run back to my ranch and grab that, and then that way we'll be good to go for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then for the New Year and stuff like that. And we're hoping for up to, I think, like it could be a possibility of 7 inches today and another 5 tonight. So maybe a foot over the next 24 hours, which would be cool. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm going to see how that forecast is shaping up. It was saying that that's going to be the heavy part of the snow. But then I saw another report saying that like maybe that wasn't the case. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's supposed to get plenty cold, which I'm actually kind of hoping happens because I set up on snow, forgetting, and it was just a little bit of snow, it wasn't very much. But I set up on a little bit of snow, and my thought process was I'm like, oh, okay, this ground is still frozen because it got up to 35 here yesterday, and the ground was a little bit thawed out. And so for putting in the tent stakes, I wanted to have frozen ground. So I thought, oh, I'll go over there and set up on the area where there's like a trace amount of snow, and and put my tent stakes in there because the ground's frozen. Not thinking that once the snow freezes, I forgot this ground gets really sloppy, and so underneath my tent right now it's all mud. But that firms up once it freezes. Once the ground freezes and gets real cold, I'll have like on the ground here. I'll show you. I've got it to where I'll put down like one of my sleeping bags, and so that'll keep it to where the ground will still be frozen underneath there, but it'll stay warm up here. So that way I can keep the ground frozen and it won't be crazy. So all right, let's see. I want to say what's up to everybody on the comments here. Let me go back. So we got Donna. Hey, what's up, Donna? I hope you and Priya are doing well. Oklahoma Survival. Good morning, brother. Got me a new puppy for Christmas. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry that you lost your dog, though. That sucks, man. So Gypsy Clipper, good morning from Yuma. Oh, right on. Sheila, hello. Thanks for tuning in from Florida. Susie, good morning from the Ozarks. Oh, I love the Ozarks. I was actually just thinking about going and camping. Let's see, where was that? I was at Big Spring a while back. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I came through there in the fall, and it was just so pretty with all the colors changing. And that spring that comes out of the mountain, out of the side of the rock there is just so cool. So I love the Ozarks. We actually used to go there when I was a kid. And what's that town that's down there that's crazy now? There's a town down there, and it was so tiny when I was there, and now it's like a little Las Vegas, I guess. But we used to go there when I was a kid, and we'd rent these train cabooses to stay in right in town. And the only thing in town was an ice cream shop and a pizza place. That was it. And there was like a stoplight or one stop sign. That was it. And now I got like a mini Branson is what it's called. It's like a mini Vegas or something. So, all right, let's see what else have we got here. Oklahoma's Rebel. Dylan, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Fitz O'Shea, good morning from Bear Lake. Virginia Hutchins, hello from Australia. Wow, that's awesome. BRS, hello from Clarksville. Oh, I've been up there. I saw Jeffrey Steele play a concert up there in Clarksville. Margot, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Same back to you. Let's see here. Oh, Jonathan, you're over in Prescott. Right on, man. All right, so let's see. Big Al tuned in from Alabama. Good morning from New York City. Mike Gray, hey, what's up, man? You're in Dallas where it's 75. Wow. So let's see. So Susie, what type of fan? Oh, it's a wood stove fan. It's called Eco Fan. What it does is it pulls the heat from the stove into a thermal generator. That thermal generator turns a tiny little motor which pushes the air around, and so it just pushes a little fan. And it's really nice to have because it increases the efficiency of your stove. So it pushes the warm air all around, kind of like a blower. And then also too, you don't use as much wood because you're not trying to like heat up that portion over there as much. The wood or the wood stove fan pushes it around, so that works really well. I think I put way too much water in here. Oh yeah, I did. Dang, yeah, I put like 4 ounces more water in here than I should have. Well, I think we'll just do like a ton of pancakes this morning. So all right, let's see. Susie, you said you're close to Mammoth Springs. Right on. Good morning, you two. From Michael. Sheila, I was watching the Canadian and the Nomad snowflakes were huge. Yeah, let's see. I hope we get the snow here too. It's let's see, is it starting to snow now? Oh yeah, it just started snowing. So there's not much on the ground at the moment, but I'm planning on doing a live stream, another one later. We'll do one like this afternoon or this evening, and I can show you all how much snow we've gotten up here because it's gonna come up for sure. I mean it's planning on dumping quite a bit. Let me grab more pancake stuff. Well, we got here yesterday, and it was pretty windy. It was like maybe like 40-mile-an-hour gusts, 40, maybe about 35, 40. And then it chilled out for a little bit. Then it started snowing, and then the snow stopped. And I don't know, like it kind of didn't snow the rest of the night. I got up a few times just to stoke the stove, and with not having the stove fan, I'm just pushing more wood in there, which I don't want to do. So that's why I want to go pick up my stove fan tomorrow. But I was surprised that it wasn't snowing. Okay, there we go. I was surprised that it wasn't snowing throughout the night. So, because it said it was going to snow all night, and it didn't at all. So maybe it just stopped at the moments that I got up. All right, let's see what else we got here. Broken Nomad, what's up, dude? How you doing, Kevin? Bubba Sizemar, hello from snowy Utah. Oh, right on. I wonder what part where in Utah you're at. So, let's see here. It seems so warm. Yeah, it is. Actually, is warm here. Inside the tent here, I'd say it's probably about 75. I've got the stove going pretty good. I'll show you what we got in here. Some pretty big logs that we're working with. Make sure I don't knock over the coffee. Pull the camera around. So this is the 4-dog stove. It's the DX model, but they don't make the steel versions anymore. They're just making just the titanium ones, which I understand why. The titanium are much lighter weight, so they're literally about 10 pounds compared to like 50 with this. And since they're lighter weight and more portable, and made out of titanium, which is a better material than metal, the guy can charge like 3 times more. So he doesn't really offer these anymore, which is kind of a bummer because I like the old steel stoves. I like them because they're heavy. And what I mean by that is if you've seen any of my videos where I've got the wind really rocking back and forth and stuff like that, the stove stays put no matter what. So it's like a solid base for the stovepipe. And that's why I don't have anything on my stovepipe outside, like any guy lines or anything like that attached to it, any cables to keep it in place, because this keeps it in place because you've got your stove jack up there, which let me show you what the stove jack is. The stove jack up there, and then the stove itself keeps it plenty in place to where I don't have to worry about it in high wind. And so that's why I like a heavy stove. I did notice that with the backpacking stove when I was out last year in Prescott running around with that, I did notice that when the winds got really high, the stove would rock a little bit when the teepee shelter would move. And I've never had this stove rock ever. I mean, I've had a night where I literally thought the trees around me were going to break off and fall on me, and I was hearing snapping trees. It was over on Mount Antero in Colorado, It was back in like 2015. It was my first winter camping, and or my first season winter camping. And man, I tell you, it was crazy with the wind, but the stove stayed put, which I like. And so I don't know. I mean, I know there's advantages to having the titanium, so I'm not saying anything bad about those. It's a better metal, it'll last longer, and it's lighter weight, so you can transport it much easier. I mean, lugging this thing around is heavy, especially when you have all the components in it with like the stovepipe and the spark arrestor and the sidewall or the side shelf and all that stuff. And so, but the nice thing about the stove is it was only $250, and I mean, it's the best stove I've ever used. So it's hands down. I could use this on in an interior space or an exterior space, or obviously like a tent like I'm using now, but it's good stuff. So, all right, let's get this on here because we are starting to have these on here. We are starting to get, I probably should feed some more wood in there. All right, let's look at some comments real quick. Let's see. Somebody was asking Mike. You're asking my current elevation is. I'm right about 7,000 feet on the. Let's see. Where am I at? I'm on the San Francisco Plateau in northern Arizona. So, let's see here. So, Donnie, you were asking how long does it take to set up my tent? Let's see. Yesterday it took about 2 hours to set everything up, but that was with me setting it up in one area and then breaking it down and pulling it over here. So I had about 20 minutes into the setup over there. I thought, no, I'm going to move over to this spot where I'm at now. And so I broke that down and pulled it over here. So if you take that out, that first portion where I set it up and then was breaking it down, that was probably about 30 minutes total. Probably about an hour and a half to get everything really dialed in. Now, when I say really dialed in, what I mean is like, let me move the deal around here and show you. Like, dial in the tent to where I've got everything set up. We're all good to go. Like the whole kit and caboodle's here. And then we'll come over this way. Yeah, we'll do a 360. Like this. Then back to the stove. And then there. So that's what I consider all set up, like to have everything dialed in and all the supplies ready to go. If you're wanting just the tent set up with the stove, you can do that in like, if you're really jamming and you're organized, you can do it in about 15 minutes. It's just like to set up the tent itself. There's two A-frame poles on either side that you pull up with big like ropes, and then the center frame goes up with it. So you have a center like ridge pole in there. And you attach the ridge pole, put the two A-frames in, pull them both up. It pulls the center part up, and then you just attach the poles to the tent for the center portion. And then there's only 6 stake down areas on the tent, like for the main portion that you stake it to the ground. And then there's 8 additional bump outs on the side. So there's 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. And I've got all that on a video. So I took video yesterday of when we got here. Of setting it up so that y'all would know kind of what it entails and how much effort it is. And it's not much effort. That's why I got this, because I can set it up as one person. Like the walled tents are awesome, but a lot of them require a 2-person setup or a lot of extra gear with you. And I don't have room to carry extra gear. And so if I had a full-size truck and not that tiny topper on the back, but if I had a full-size truck and no topper on it where I could haul as much stuff as I wanted to, and back when I was living on the road, I didn't have a home base, so I didn't have a storage unit or anything. So I did store my tent at my folks' place for a little while, and then I stashed it at a friend's place in Colorado. But other than that, like, some of those walled tents, they require a floor, and you have to carry wood, and then you build up a floor and all that stuff. And I mean, they're super comfortable. Then the walled tents, the canvas tents are great because they're not noisy. This tent, you've seen it in the wind. If you've seen any of those winter camping videos where the wind gets gnarly, it gets loud in here. It's like a freight train. You don't sleep at all. And on top of it too, it's weird how like the pressure in here will change, because you'll get like a real bad gust and the wind and like the tent will snap from the wind, and you'll feel it in your eardrums. So people have said, like, how come you don't put like earplugs in and sleep with that? And the reason why is because you can feel it in your eardrums and you can feel it in your chest because it hits so hard. So what's up, baby girl? Oh, let me get this out of the way for you. There you go. She knows we're going to start making some pancakes, so she just arose from her slumber. Let me show you Sierra real quick. All right, everybody's saying hello to you, Pumpkin. Gotta look at the camera, baby girl. What you doing? You want some pancakes? You want some pancakes this morning? All right, we're going to get her some pancakes here shortly. So she's doing really good. She was really stoked when we got here yesterday. She started running around like crazy and didn't stop for about an hour. and so once I got the bed set up, she came in here and immediately took a nap for a while, which I thought was adorable. But she can tell, like, when I get all the stuff out. Initially, I'll pull out the big duffel bag that has a tent in it. She'll look at it and she'll look at me and then she'll look at the tent and her tail will start like kind of wagging a little bit, like, "Hey, are we gonna be winter camping?" And then when I bust out the stove out of the back of the truck, she starts jumping up and down and she does a little bounce thing. And then she starts running around as fast as she can in like these huge circles around camp. And so she kept on doing that yesterday. And then she found, it was hunting season out here just recently, and so she found a deer spine and was running around with that. And just, I mean, every time I looked over and just to see what she was doing, she was into something. So she was having fun. But she definitely enjoys being out here. And then what we do is we sleep together in the cot. And the cot, I think I might have a hole or something like that in my X-Ped sleeping pad, because it's one of those you can blow up, and it's got a pad inside of it, and then you blow it up and it makes it a little bit more firm. And like halfway through the night last night, it just felt like it kind of deflated. So I don't know if there's like a pinhole in it or what, but I probably should get a new one of those because these are so comfortable to use, these X-Peds. So all right, hang on, let me see. We're gonna go ahead and test one of these. I don't know, it's pretty runny. I put 4 ounces of too much water in here, which probably should just redo this. Let's see. But we're planning on staying out. Doesn't look like the temperatures are going to warm up here until I think next Monday, and so that's when we'll head out probably on Sunday and go back to the ranch and just chill. And I was talking to some friends this morning. My neighbor Darren, he was telling me, he's like, there's a little bit of snow at the ranch, but not much. So it hasn't really like hit as hard as I think they were thinking it was going to. Oh, that's kind of cool. You can't really see it, I don't think, on the camera. Let me see if I can pull this over and if you can look at it. There's steam coming off the tent, and it's going up. Oh, no, you can't see it. It's going up the window there, which is pretty cool. So, all right, I am planning, for those who are wondering, I am planning to go to Colorado to winter camp, soon. But it just kind of depends on our schedule around here and kind of what we're up to and everything. So we'll get there eventually. We'll definitely get there by like February or March. All right, let's see here. Make some big ass pancakes. There we go. Yeah, that sounds like that's heating up there. Will that rise? These might be really thin, like thin crust pizza pancakes. It doesn't look like it's rising very much. I put too much water in there. So, all right, let's see. Let me get caught up on some comments. All right, let's see here. What have we got? Let's see. Happy New Year to both of you. Excited for the snow. Thanks. Yeah, Maggie. Happy New Year to you too. Howard, add more mix. Yeah, I did. I'm just not, I don't feel like putting in enough mix for like 40 pancakes. I think right now we're sitting at probably at least 12 pancakes. I miscalculated how much stuff I was supposed to put in there. So we'll be in good shape, and it's actually starting to rise a little bit. So I think the pancakes would be all right. That might just be a little bit thin, but that, we can use them as like discs later for frisbee golf or something like that. Let's see, a Metaglyph. Yeah, I use a fan to heat the tin. Unfortunately, I forgot my fan, so I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow. Last night I actually went into town because I was like, well, maybe I can go in town and find a wood stove fan real quick. So I went into Flagstaff, ran around a bunch of different places, but they were all out. Everybody was sold out, and so I came back here and I just bought a little tiny like little fan, and I put it behind the stove here, and then had it to where it was about level with the stovepipe, the firebox surface here, and then had the fan blow across here, and that does a good enough job. But the thing is you have to have a power source to run it, and so I don't want to be using I don't want to be using power source out here just to run a fan. I'd rather have it to where I'm using the heat from the wood stove to power a thermoelectric generator. So the fan that I use, for people that are familiar, that are wanting to look it up, let me pull up the website for you real quick. It's called an Eco Fan, and I use the Air Max model. So let me show you here. Eco Fan, where's There it is. I don't want to put up. There's like an official website for them. And they've got a bunch of different. Oh no, this is gonna be. Let's see, Eco Fan. There it is. Okay, let me get this website this for you. Okay. There you go. So that's the fan that I like to use. So we're good to go. So, okay, Sandra, you're asking how much of log of wood do you need to heat the whole night? It kind of depends. If I was to use, let's say, rounds like this, and when I say rounds, what I mean is wood that's not split. So it's round still. If I were to use these throughout the night, last night it would probably take 9 throughout the entire, and that's from like dinner time to when I wake up. Okay, and so that's a good like probably 13, 14 hours. And so I use 9 of these. Now, if it gets down to 0, you're looking at probably 20. Okay, because what you'll do is you'll stack more of these in there when you're loading your stove for each burn, and then you can turn the damper down in the front, but you'll still get about the same amount of burn time. Well, you get more burn time, but you'll get a lot more BTUs as far as your heat is concerned. And so, all right, let's see here. Let me put some butter in here. We can start stacking these pancakes. I don't think I brought any tin foil with me, so we're gonna have to stack the pancakes and they're gonna get cold, which is gonna be kind of lame. Last night we had another one of those awesome bagel sandwiches. I don't know if you saw it in the last video, the one that I did with the bacon and eggs and cheese and all that stuff. God, those are so good. So I got supplies for more of that too. So we'll have that coming up. I think I want to stoke the stove a little bit here. So hang on one second. Well, before I check more comments. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So I'll show you what we're working with as far as our bed of coals in here before we put more wood in. So we got a real nice bed of coals, and we're just going to keep this going all day and into tomorrow. Real great coals in there, and really stoked to be winter camping again. God, I love doing this stuff. This is so much fun. I get out here and I feel like I'm just a big Boy Scout or something. All right, let's put one of these rounds in because we'll be out here all day. So obviously. Now you can touch the front of that if you're like lightning fast. If you're not lightning fast, it will burn you like you will not believe. So, all right, let me move this over here. There we go. All right, let's see. Catfish and Pappy. Oh, thank you for more pancakes mix. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, brother. All right, let's see here. What else have we got? Good morning from Death Valley. Able veteran nomad. Hey, man. Hope all's well in Death Valley. Did you guys get a bunch of rain with that storm that just came through? So, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Am I great? Yeah, thanks, man. Thought you were in a camper now, William. Oh, I have a camper, but I still like to winter camp, man. So I'll be doing both. All right, here we go. Let's see here. You sure do love pancakes? Yeah, pancakes are awesome. Pancakes are good. I love bacon breakfast burritos, but I haven't been doing those much as of late because of all the stomach stuff I had last year with the Giardia. Big fan of biscuits over the stove. Those are really good. So I brought some stuff for biscuits. I didn't bring the stuff for cornbread like I was wanting to. I just forgot to get that stuff. So maybe when I roll out on Wednesday to go grab my my wood stove fan, maybe I can pick that stuff up because it's fun to bake that. Like it's like a 45-minute bake session and we can just hang out and talk and stuff like that. And then when it's done, it's good stuff. So, and I love cornbread. Cornbread tastes great. So, all right. Let's see here. I love your videos. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Hello from the UK. Danya Lee, 1981. Hello back at you. William Johnson, if an awesome, you're fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Dad. No problem, man. I missed comments on here though, so I apologize if somebody comments and I get a lot of them that come up, and then what you all don't see is that there's like these troll bots or whatever that get on and they'll start spamming on here, but you don't see it, but I do on my end, and so it's like somebody can comment and I can respond to this comment right here, and then somebody, it looks like there's another comment right beneath it, but there might be like 5 spam comments in between that. So sometimes if I miss the comment, it's not like not that I'm intentionally ignoring anybody at all. I just there's only so many comments you can respond to, and then also keep the live stream going, all that stuff. And I don't work with a moderator, just because I don't know. I like to kind of do things moments notice. Like this morning, I'm like, I'm doing a live stream, and so I just fired it up, and 15 minutes later, we're here. And I don't like keeping a schedule really, and so that was one of the things that bothered me when I worked with sponsors, was that they always wanted stuff like with this at a certain time and everything, which I understand. I mean, obviously they have deadlines and stuff like that. But I'd be like, yeah, but I'm fly fishing, or or I'm hiking with Sierra, or whatever, or I'm wheeling at a cool spot, and I don't want to stop. And so that's why I stopped working with sponsors and all that stuff, because I just thought, like, and at the end of the day, it's a job. And I, when I was in the corporate world, the reason why I got so burned out was just because I worked myself literally almost to death. That was my strategy. I'm like, I'll outwork everybody. That was what I thought I could do. And it worked, but, I paid a huge price for it with mental and physical health. And so after I just finally decided that I didn't want to be a part of that anymore, I got back into camping and being outdoors, and I really loved it. And I thought, I'm just going to do this full time. And so I came out here, and a lot of people asked, like, what did you do for work and stuff like that? And I didn't do anything that was related to corporate stuff, because I thought I'll just get sucked back into it, because the money for that is too enticing, especially when you get rid of all the stuff that you own, like I did, and just didn't have any bills. If somebody were to come and say, hey, we'll give you 50 grand a year, like that, with no bills or any expenses, that's a lot of money, And so I thought, well, I can't do any corporate jobs or anything like that. And so I started doing ranch work and landscaping jobs. And I also owned a trails company, but for those of you that know the story behind that, I got screwed out of that one by a shady ex-business partner, which is fine. I didn't want to stick around that area anyway. But so I did landscaping work and ranch work. And the reason why I did that outdoor work was so Sierra could be with me, because I couldn't do like a coffee shop job, even though that would be easy. Like literally, if you're going to be a nomad and you want to get to know a certain area, go see if you can work at like a coffee shop, or at like, if there's any guiding companies that offer like ATV guides or anything like that, go see if you can do that, because you'll get to know the area really fast, and you'll get to know the people really well. But anyway, so I did that for like 3 years, and then the summer, the last job that I had was working for the town of Crested Butte. It was actually the town of Mount Crested Butte. For those that aren't familiar, Crested Butte has 2 towns within it. It's got the old town, which is the main one that you drive into initially. And then up on the mountain, there's the mountain town. And so they're actually 2 separate towns. I want to adjust the lighting on here. Hang on a second. So there's 2 towns there. There's the main town that you drive into, and then there's the mountain town, which is that's where the ski resort is. And it's actually the entire town is a resort. And so I worked for the mountain, and I was a gardener for him for Parks and Rec, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Outside all day long. We would sit there on our back patio of where I think we're gonna give this first pancake to Sierra. We'd sit on the back patio of where work was, and we could literally watch on the mountain across. There's this big valley that went up, and this mountain right here. We could watch black bear walk across it. We'd be sitting there on break just watching it, or elk or deer. I mean, it was insane. It was so awesome. And I really enjoyed that. And I was going to go back and work for the town, but then that winter, I decided to change my channel up a little bit. Before 2018, I was doing more like how-to videos. Like here's how you set up your truck, or here's how you pack it for overlanding, or whatever. And even with the winter camping, I'd be like, here's how you operate your stove. It wouldn't be just like lifestyle stuff. And then I changed my channel. I'm like, I'm running out of how-to topics. I don't have any more topics for how-to. So what do I do? And I'm like, well, I guess I should just put up a video of like what my day is like, or something like that. So I did, and people really liked it. And then that's when it started to take off. And then I thought, well, I better call my boss in Crested Butte and let him know I'm not coming back for the next year. And so that was like winter of 2018, 2019. And then since then, it's just been YouTube full time. So what's up, baby girl? We got some. Let me grab some syrup for her real quick. So I'm going to flip this around while I get into my my dealer here. So I brought some extra water with me. You can see this right here. And then I forgot to bring the water heater from the side of the stove. So I think I was anxious to get out, and I wasn't really paying attention to all the stuff that I was supposed to bring. I mean, forgetting the water heater and then also the wood stove fan is those are two kind of big things. So kind of a bonehead move on my part. But and then here's an example if you want to see what the mud is looking like down here. See how it's coming up through the floor. Whoops, through the floor right here, right there. It's all wet. That's because I set up on snow. And so that's the advantage of not having a floor, you know, like I've talked about it before in other winter camping videos or other winter camping posts and also videos, but more of posts where I'd say like, hey, you know, I'm thinking about getting a tent that doesn't have a floor in it because this will dry out if there isn't a covering over it. You know, like my wood stove would dry out the floor and then the ground would just be, you know, normal. Whereas this is going to stay wet like this until I pull my tent up. And I mean, it'll freeze, like portions that aren't close to the stove will freeze. The ground portion will, but it's still going to be a sloppy mess. And then I have to clean my tent once it all dries out and all that stuff. So it's kind of a pain. That's where like winter camping in Colorado is so advantageous because the ground, even when it's wet, it doesn't get sloppy like it does out here. Make this sweet. Here, we'll watch here real quick. She's chowing down. Is that good, sweetie? It's tasting pretty good. I'll tell you what, she is such a pretty dog. All right, but that's the advantage of being out in Colorado or, you know, any other environment. But I guess the ground out here, it doesn't have, I can't remember the component that it doesn't have, but there's a component that's missing out of the soil that makes it to where when it gets wet, it doesn't like stay together. It just becomes completely sloppy. And so, you know, you have to kind of time it to where, like when I leave camp on Sunday, I'm going to get up real early that morning, probably about 3 a.m. and start packing up the tent. And that way I can get out and still get out of here before it gets sunny and the roads get too sloppy to where I can't roll out. So a lot of people have asked like how I find my winter camping spots. And honestly, it's just been me driving around for the last 7 years in the wintertime, seeing which Forest Service roads are open and which ones aren't. I did kind of find a hack that helps you find spots that I've kind of noticed as of late. And it's if you can find county roads that lead back into the forest, or there's homesteads back in there where people are still living there, then the county has to maintain those roads. So they'll plow it. So that can give you access into some hard to reach areas, you know, and so just kind of look in your local areas if you have any spots like that, you know, if you're looking for camping locations. But as far as me giving out the specific spots of where I'm at, I never give out my winter camping spots. It's taking too long for me to find them. You know, I want to find them to not only to where I can winter camp, but then I can also do, you know, like live streams like this. I need to have connectivity, and the accessibility of that backcountry in the wintertime is greatly diminished from natural barriers, just like snow. You know, if it snows too much, you can't get back in there. But then also too, you know, the Forest Service in some areas, especially like, you know, here near Flagstaff, the northeast side and the east side, the northwest side and the west side of Humphreys Peak gets pounded with snow. They get absolutely pounded with snow. In town, they can get like 2 or 3 inches. Out there, they'll literally get like 2 feet. And so they have to close the roads out around there because people will get snowed in. And they've had it to where people have died and stuff like that. So I get that. You know, I understand why they close that. And so, you know, what I've done is just over the years is I'll be like, well, I know all these Forest Service roads in Colorado. I'm going to go drive them, you know, in the wintertime and see which ones have gates on them and which ones don't. And the ones that don't have gates on them, I'd get back in there and see how the conditions would be. And, you know, it's just taken a long time to find these spots. But and like I said, also the ones that have cell reception, so I can do work and stuff like that. But it's been awesome. I mean, the spots where I go, I don't really have anybody that drives by. In Colorado, I mean, when I was camping, hang on, let me turn on my battery over here. I've got the router hooked up to the Blue Eddy, the AC200P. Let's see here. There we go. And is that wet? All right, we're in good shape. Okay, we're good. But I don't know what I was saying. I was talking about something. But winter camping out here though is awesome, and I'm gonna be probably probably coming back to this location again, I would imagine, before the end of the year, because like Flagstaff gets these crazy snowstorms. And so they, I guess in February, I was talking to a guy, a friend of mine that knows the weather patterns out here pretty well because he's lived out here for a long time. And he was telling me, he said in February, for some reason, the weather pattern changes and the moisture comes up from the Sea of Cortez instead of the West Coast. And when that happens, he's like, that's when the big dumps happen. And I was here a couple years ago when they had that 4-foot snowstorm, which was crazy. I woke up, I was actually down in Sedona camping, and I was down there, and I was like, they're like, oh, snow's coming. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. I'm from Colorado, I got this, and I didn't check the weather forecast. I didn't even know what was coming. And Sedona ended up getting 2 feet of snow. I woke up that morning and I was like, and I was truck camping, and I was like, why is it so dark outside? And what it was is the tarp that I had over my truck had collapsed around me. And so the tarp was wrapped around the truck, and then there was like 2 feet of snow on top of my truck. And then at the back, I had like these two hiking poles holding up the tarp, and one of them had collapsed and the other one was barely holding on. And I thought, in Sedona, 2 feet of snow was crazy. So I'm impressed with the weather out here because it's way different than Colorado. I mean, obviously, it's a different area, but the tenacity of the storms is what I think is pretty impressive, because if you think about it, they're all coming from the ocean, either the West Coast or the Sea of Cortez. They're coming up into the Southwest, and the first area of significant elevation rise is the Colorado Plateau. And then you've got the Colorado Plateau, the San Francisco Plateau, and the Cocosino Plateau. It's all kind of the same area. So it's essentially northern Arizona. So once those storms come through all the lower line areas there and dump rain or whatever, they hit that and it's like boom, and then they get like a shot of steroids. And that's where the monsoons this summer were just awesome. And then winter camping stuff is pretty good too. So all right, let's see here. Let me get back to some comments. Curtis, good morning, Sweet Shirt. Yes, this is my my Sesame Street search. This is everything I learned, or everything I know I learned on the streets. So I love that, especially considering I was a nomad for so long. Hey, Dive Talk, what's up, man? All right, let's see. Let's guess what you say. Are you sure those are not secret campsites? Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so I gotta post this up. I don't know if you guys saw. So Dive Talk, Gus and Woody, these guys are awesome. You gotta follow their channel, and they recently did a video to where there's this guy, I think his name's like Jake or something like that, and he's one of those content creators, this guy with a gazillion followers, but he was saying that he found this super secret cave diving spot, and it's like one of the best known cave diving spots in all of Florida, I think. And so they did a video, and they were like, "Hey, this is awesome cinematography," because it's kind of like that they react to different diving videos. But they also made a point to call the guy out. They're like, "That's actually one of the most known spots around." That's and in the title, this guy had put like, "Oh, I found the most super secret cave ever, and no one's ever been here." Like total clickbait crap. And so so they Dive Talk kind of like calling out like, hey, by the way, like everybody knows about that spot. And it's amazing how many people come to the defense of someone who's like doing clickbait stuff. I even had some guy come after me on one of the comments. I was just like, oh, whatever. But in the outdoor world, we get that. Like I talked with Baron Elsa about that. You see the thumbnails of like the girl ice fishing in a thong bikini. I'm like, no one fucking ice fishes in a thong bikini. Like that's stupid. Like, oh, I'm out here surviving. I'm like, no, you're not. You're out there for clicks, and then you're probably going back to the Marriott at night and chilling. Like, I don't know. There's like two different mindsets for content creators. I think there's like ones that do it that because they want to show exactly kind of what their interests are about. Like my stuff here, I try to show real life of what goes on. And then you have the clickbait people that do like the girl in the thong bikini ice fishing in the middle of the Arctic. I mean, it's just, we know what it is when we look at it. It's like, that's legit. This is clickbait, So anyway, check out their channel. If you guys haven't subscribed to Dive Talk, you got to do it. And we're going to be doing a collaboration soon. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Kat, hey, what's going on? How have you been? Let's see. From Oz, how you doing? P.S. You talk a lot when we all... You talk a lot when all I want you to do is answer your questions. I do have the gift of gab. That's why I was good at sales when I was in the corporate world. I could go into a room and I could talk to anybody. But it's kind of interesting. I was thinking about this the other day when I've been out here. I my social skills suck compared to what they used to be. Like I'll make like jokes. I'm like, that wasn't funny, and I definitely don't not as polished as I used to be when I talk to people all the time. So being out here in the middle of nowhere, it definitely has made me a little bit less social. So, all right. So Joe, you get snow in Central Michigan. That's cool, man. Melissa, hello from Hagerstown, Maryland. Oh, cool. I've never been out there. Tulsa, Oklahoma here. Oh, right on. What's up, Spy Guy 777? Uncle Cheapy's camper van. Let's see here. Let's see what was Uncle Cheapy's camper. America's back at you. Ron Holmes, hello from Pennsylvania. Hello from Canada. Magenta. Let's see here. Broken Nomad Show. Yeah, dude, it's crazy with the. So we were kind of joking about that. I was joking about that with Gus on from Dive Talk on text. We were talking about how people do stuff for just clicks. And I mean, I get it. I mean, people want to have, a successful channel and stuff. But you got to think, like, if you're constantly promoting BS, people are going to call you out. It'd be like if I was back here and, saying like, no one's ever camped here before. There's a fire ring outside here. People camp here all the time, Or if I say like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, ultra secret spot, and I'm like 30 minutes from Flagstaff, it's like, no. So, all right, let's see what else have we got here. Watching you from Meritus. Oh, cool. I don't even know where that is. That's awesome. I gotta check that out. So Meadow Creek Farm, no thongs allowed. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not gonna be busting that out on my channel. So you guys don't worry about any of that thong content here. I don't look that good in that sort of stuff. So these are taking a while to cook. I let the stove go a little bit there, and it was a little bit out of juice. We do have a cranking now, though. So let me show you what we got in the stove box. So we got a nice little fire in there. It's cranking pretty good. So we've got one piece of oak and then one round of pinyon pine. And the pinyon pine's from my property, and the oak is from the wood that I bought to build the ranch out. So things are coming along really good with that shed, and I'm really excited to get back. Once the weather gets a little bit nicer, and work on that and get that all dialed in. All right, so we got our first pancake coming up here for the human. See what it looks like. Oh yeah! Ow, that's hot. All right, we're just gonna cover that with a bunch of stuff here. One thing that's nice about having this shelf here on the side is you can put your plates on there if the shelf isn't too hot. And if it's a metal plate like this, it'll keep your food warm. So you can kind of go like that and keep it somewhat warm. I wish I had tinfoil with me. I just don't at the moment. All right, let me put this on here, and then we're going to answer a bunch of comments here. All right, numero dos. All right, I'm going to respond to comments, and I apologize for kind of blabbing too much. So, all right, see Kenton, Golden, Colorado. Hello back at you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. You and Sierra are always welcome to stay on my land at Reed Point, Montana. Oh, cool. I appreciate that. I've never been to Montana. I'd love to go there and check it out. I always hear incredible things about Montana, Idaho, all those places. So maybe I want to cruise up to South Dakota and go to the Black Hills. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this summer. So we'll see. Maybe I can cruise over to Montana and check out that area. That'd be cool. So yeah. Okay, so I'm near Madagascar on the Indian Ocean. That's awesome, man. That's one area of the world, the Indian Ocean, that I would love to go check out. I've never been over to that part of the world. That'd be great. So Josh, hey, what's up, Josh? Oh man, now I don't walk around the Thongan Ranch. I wear nothing at the ranch, man. Get it straight, brother. Start camping and how. I think this person was asking, when did I start camping and how did I get into it? I started camping when I was a kid. I mean, my parents were into it. And so we'd go do Christmas or summer vacations. And my dad was kind of ahead of his time. He would build out these vans, these fleet vans, and we'd live in them. And we'd go to national parks. And I mean, I remember when I was a real little kid, like going to Grand Tetons and Yellowstone National Park and all that stuff. So that was awesome. And then we also lived out in the country a little bit. We were on a lake, and my brothers and I, we would just run around the back, and it was real heavily wooded. And so we'd drag these logs over to the side of the water's edge, and we'd build rafts and stuff like that. And then we had a little boat, and we'd go putt around on this boat and do like fishing all the time. And we'd build forts up in the trees and stuff like that. So it was awesome. And then after college, I went to school at Kansas State, and there's a really awesome reservoir near Kansas State called Tuttle Reservoir. And then there's the Konza Prairie. And then there's the national park, which a lot of people don't know about, which is near Manhattan, Kansas. And it's called Tallgrass National Preserve. That place is awesome. It has like 100 miles of hiking trails in it. So I'd go there and hang out. And then after college, living in Colorado, it was easy just to be outdoors. And then after that, I lived in California, so on the beach. So it's lots of outdoor environments, which I love. I don't think I could go back to a city and live there. I can go back to a city and hang out. I think it's kind of fun, but I get sick of it really quick. And so doing this and just being outdoors full time, and truck camping for the last 7 years has been great, even though it was a little tiring. And now just kind of shifting gears a little bit, doing more of like working at the ranch or working on my ranch and with the camper, and also building out that shed, and then coming out and taking advantage of this. It's nice to be close to areas that are good for winter camping, because when a storm hits, I can just jam, pack up my gear. Next time, not forget my wood stove, and be over here to rock and roll, which is really cool. So, all right, that one was pretty fast. Let's get some more going here. I think we got about the perfect temperature for the pancakes. So hang on a second. All right, it looks like we'll probably be able to get about 4 total. And then I've got a bunch of like strawberries and blueberries to put on top of it, which would be cool. So, all right, let's see here. Blabble on. So choose something fun. If you weren't blabbing, no one would be watching. That's true. I've been on live streams before where people just sit there and just look at the comments. They wait for people to say something. I'm like, dude, you gotta say something. So, all right. Five Fish Nomad. What's up, Greg? How you doing, man? Coffee ready. Who wants a cup? That reminds me, I need to drink some of my coffee. It's gonna get cold. Let's see. Cross marketing adventures. I'm going camping this weekend. Right on. Seeing any mythical creatures out there? Chad Cole. That's an interesting question. I've never seen any, but I did have one experience where I heard a bunch of stuff, and I couldn't see anything around me. So I was wondering. I was truck camping. It was near Buena Vista. It was near the wilderness area, the Buffalo Peaks wilderness area. And there's this trail that goes into this really awesome meadows section. And so I was camping at that trailhead, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Like no one goes back there. And I think even now, even though that area is blown up, I still don't think anybody goes back there. And there's this wide open area. It's huge, and it's underneath this massive pine tree. And so it's great for summer shade. So you can pull underneath there, and you're good to go. And you can see forever, because the whole slope that comes up there from literally from town, you can see from town all the way back up in there and up this huge slope. And then you have this massive, huge, wide open area to camp in. And so I was truck camping there, and I was in the back of my truck, and I was sleeping, but I had the window open that was right next to my head. And this was back when I had the platform, so I was sleeping diagonally in the back and didn't have the slide out extension. So what I could do is I could open the back of that and roll out in literally less than a couple seconds, and I could be out of the truck and on my feet, ready to rock and roll if I heard danger or anything like that. So one night I was sitting there, and I woke up, and it was like the middle of the night. I was like, I just kind of woke up, and I heard footsteps, and I was like, what in the world? And I'm like thinking, I'm in the middle of nowhere out here. And so whoever's out here, I'll be able to see him when I jump out of my truck. And so I heard it kind of far away, and then I heard it get closer and closer. And I thought, okay, if this gets close to my truck, I'm going to scare the crap out of this. I'm going to jump out, scare the crap out of this, and I have my gun, so I'll be good to go. And so it came up next to my truck, and as soon as it got close to my truck, whatever it was stopped, and didn't hear it anymore. I thought, and I got creeped out like crazy. And then I heard it like a foot, sound like it was turning in the gravel. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting out. So I opened up my truck as quick as I could, flipped on all my lights, got out, shone around, and there was nothing there. There wasn't one thing around. It was silent. I had my heavy duty flashlights, and I'm shining them in every direction looking, and I could see it would take somebody at least 2 minutes to run away from where I was at to where I wouldn't be able to see him anymore from where I was camping. And there was no one around. So I got to think that's got to be some sort of paranormal stuff. Look at this pancake. I gotta tell you this. Look at how awesome this is looking over the wood stove. Gosh, that looks great. So yeah, I've had some paranormal. I had that thing. I did have another experience where I thought I was like kind of thinking it was like Bigfootish, but I think now looking back, it was probably a black wolf, because black wolves are now in Colorado. And I was near an area where they'd been sighted as of late, and it was the first sighting came the same summer where I had my experience. What I had was this dark figure running through the forest like super fast through a bunch of down timber. And then I had it to where the only thing I can't really explain is that that morning there were no bird sounds and there were rocks that were like kind of looked like they were getting heaved down the hill, which was kind of crazy. But I don't know. I was never fully convinced that was Bigfoot because, like, I don't know, the Bigfoot thing. You would think with how big those animals are that at least we'd find a carcass or something. And there just hasn't been anything found on that stuff. So I mean, I'm not saying it's not there. People in Oregon, swear by it. And if you live up there in Oregon, it's kind of like known that like yeah, Sasquatch is around there. It's just in my experience, I just don't think that's what it was. So I'm not discrediting anybody who thinks that those are real though, because who knows, man? We're finding new stuff still all the time, and it wouldn't surprise me if that was. I mean, there was like a gigantic Pithecus or whatever it was called, the super big ape that was like 8 or 9 feet, and that's real. I mean, I think it was extinct a long time ago. At least they think it was extinct a long time ago. So who knows? Maybe there's still some of those things roaming around somewhere. All right, this one's going on. But other than that, no, like 7 years out here, no experiences, no nothing crazy. The craziest stuff is just dealing with people. Like people could just be they come out here to camp and they think like it's my weekend, I'll do whatever I want. And there's shooting guns all the time, throwing their trash everywhere, and just not being respectful and not being respectful of people camping near them and stuff like that. And that's where it's like it's so nice having the 4x4 truck that I have, so I can just go out in the middle of nowhere and get away from all that stuff. And not deal with those people. So, and I've had it to where people roll up on me and they're being super obnoxious and all that stuff, and I'll just be like, cool, I'm just going to pack up and go somewhere else. And so that's what I do. And, if people want to be that way, that's their call. I don't want to camp next to them. So I'd rather them let me know right when they get there, as opposed to like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of hard to move in the middle of the night. So, all right, let's see here. Pancake griddle fun. Thanks, Catfish Puppy. Magdalena F. Thanks. Hey you, back at you. Thank you very much for the super chats there. Let me get caught up on some comments here. So I'm watching from the UK. Darren Jones, love your lifestyle. Very few places in England you're allowed to wild camp. Oh yeah, I've heard that over in Europe that's kind of hard to wild camp. That's and I mean, kind of makes sense. That area has been settled for thousands of years, and out here in the American West, I mean, their Native American cultures were obviously super prevalent. But other than that, there wasn't anybody else living out here, and so nothing's really been. I mean, it's crazy that I could buy land that wasn't developed. It's like mountain property. Like my place that I have, my mountain property, nobody's ever done anything with it, completely untouched, which is awesome. So it's like I get there and I can do whatever I want with it and make it my own, which is cool. And what I like about it is I like kind of keeping it just kind of natural. But yeah, even people in the for those that aren't from the States, people in the American East will message me and be like, "How do you find these places to or anything?" I'm like, "No, there's what we call dispersed camp. Somebody's camped there before, you're good to go unless there's a no camping sign in it." And the main thing is just if you're going to come out here and do this, just always take your trash with you, leave, and just leave the spot looking the same as or better than what you found it. And these sites will always stay open. What I found in Colorado is the areas that started getting shut down were the areas where it started having a lot of irresponsible camping. And so, if the Forest Service isn't a backcountry made service, so their solution when an area gets trashed, they're like, well, we'll shut it down so people can't go there anymore. And I understand like that mindset, but it really sucks for the people that don't, trash those places. So if everybody just does their part, then places will stay open. Because like the Forest Service, I've worked with them a bunch in the past, and they've told me they're like the forest can handle the traffic, it just can't handle all the trash and the people, doing all the things that they do, all the things that are bad. Like another thing that's really bad, people not digging cat holes. So if you're gonna go to the bathroom in the backcountry, if you dig a cat hole 6 to 8 inches deep and then go to the bathroom there and then cover it up, the ground takes care of it. And don't put your toilet paper in there. Take your toilet paper with you. You can burn it or throw it in the trash. But the cat holes, those work well, and you got to be about 75 human paces away from a water source in order to do that. Because like up in Rocky Mountain National Park, those cat hole practices aren't being followed. And they found in like one of the remote streams, they found 19 different human pharmaceuticals in there from people urinating and defecating close to the stream. And so, you got to think like we do have an impact on that stuff. And if you can just do a few things to eliminate those things getting spoiled, then areas will stay open. But like in Leadville, Colorado, Champion Mill Trail, the one I used to maintain, I used to go there twice a week and take out a ton of trash, and I was seeing a lot of irresponsible, human waste behavior. And I was still even transporting that stuff out too. I had bio kits that I'd use and everything like that to take all the stuff out. That area now is closed because of too much fecal matter on top of the ground. So that's crazy, and that's one of the main deals of what I want to brag about these pancakes real quick. Check this out. Look at this stack I'm making right here. That's like textbook. That's like textbook looking pancakes, isn't it? Just had to humble brag about the pancakes real quick. but anyway, but it sucks that area got shut down because there was such good fishing back in there. But you can't go past the Mount Elbert trailhead anymore. And once you get to Mount Elbert trailhead and then the Mount Elbert campground there, I think you can go to Mount Massive trailhead too, the one that goes to the front side of the mountain. But after that, you can't go back any further. And there's like a really cool mill back in there that's one of the largest in Colorado. It's still standing, and really awesome river section with a cool canyon and all that stuff. And it's like that, none of that is accessible anymore. It's all shut down because of the fact that people didn't camp responsibly. That sucks. It's a cool area. I'd love to go back there again, but I don't know. Maybe one day they'll open it back up. One thing you can do with your stove here. One thing I want to mention is if you have wool gloves, you can work with all this stuff. It won't get you as far as the heat. So I'll use these wool gloves. The one thing you want to be careful though is the thumb has it to where you can pull it out to where you don't have your things like this, and so you can burn your thumb if you're not paying attention. And I've done that before when I've grabbed this to like open up the firebox. You can burn your thumb pretty easy. But it's nice though if you get like legit wool, not wool that has synthetic in it, but like 100% wool. They're usually the cheapest ones that are out there, but they're the best ones as far as like winter camping goes. What I like about these for winter camping is they're breathable because wool obviously doesn't have any like sealant on it, so it's breathable. So if you're out working on stuff, you have a tendency to get kind of hot. You can pull this back, and then you have a breathable glove where your hands can cool off and dry off pretty easy. It also wicks away any moisture, and then if it's wet, it still retains 80% of the heat properties. So if you're out there working in the snow and these get all dunked down with snow and stuff like that, your hands will still stay warm, which it's just amazing. So I always like these way better than any synthetic glove, just because I think they work better, and they're more functional, and they're cheap. They're like $20, which is amazing. I don't know what brand these are. These are like some generic, just off brand that I found. But if you find the ones that have the suede pad here in the middle, that's fine too, because it's leather, so it'll hold the heat. That'll probably hold a little bit better because like I always have a tendency to wear these out by like year 2. And so like the hand portion will, but the suede pad goes right here, or like the leather patch goes right there. So just heads up. Let's see, catfish and pancakes. Let me go back here. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the comments here. So let me see. Let's see. Gosh, pancake looks great. Thanks, Melanie. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how these are turning out. They're looking pretty good. And that plate is plenty warm, be on the side shelf there, so those pancakes are going to stay hot. That should be great. It's starting to snow a little bit outside. Let me see how we're looking. It's not much. It's just kind of coming down a little bit. I'm really hoping that it dumps like crazy. So what the plan for today is, I'm going to film all day, put together another video, and then I think this afternoon, once the snow sets in and really is setting in, hopefully it sets in good, we'll fire up another live stream, because what I was thinking was I could open up my my tent doors, and then for the main portion here, and then also in the vestibule, and then with the camera here, I could put it right in the middle, and we could easily just rotate it, back and forth. The problem that I have is that with this this camera that I use, it plugs in via USB, and the USB port on here is real sensitive. So if I bump it, it ends up to where it disconnects. Excuse me. And then you have to restart the live stream, and I lose everybody on it. So, but we can do that later on. And, whoops, I did not flip that one very good. We can do that later on. I'm thinking like, let's see, so it's 9:45 right now. I'm thinking like probably around like 3 or 4. So I'll keep an eye on the snow. I don't want it to get it to be too, well, actually, no, maybe we should do it in the evening. We could do around 5, and then it could, if we go into 6, then it could get dark. So I'll figure it out later, and we'll get that going. But my battery is getting low right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and log off before we're done here cooking all these pancakes. So Josh, no bacon. Oh, I got bacon, buddy. I had bacon last night for my sandwiches, so we're all good. So also too, I wanted to say thanks to Josh real quick. He's my friend that gave me the ride to go pick up my truck in Cortez. So we cruised out there, and it's one of my neighbors, and so just want to thanks to Josh. Appreciate it, buddy. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and somebody's asking how far did I pitch the tent from the camper? It's about an hour and a half drive on the freeway. So what's that, like 70, 80 miles? So pretty far away. So I'm out here a bit. I'm out on Forest Service land right now. So I'm in the Cocosino National Forest. So all right, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll do another one later this afternoon, so be on the lookout for that. I'll post it up a little bit. I'll post up a notice maybe like 2 hours prior to doing the next live stream, and that way everybody gets a chance to tune in, because this one was just kind of impromptu. I woke up and was like, let's make some pancakes, and so that's what we did. So all right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch up with you later this afternoon. All right, baby girl.